Before you sign up with Amway, please watch this entire video. This video is not to be mean. This video is not to be rude. I will take out names to protect the individuals whom which I'm talking about, despite how much I really don't feel like they deserve it. But this is something that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to explain why in a little while. What's up, Cherishing Flow fam? Welcome back to my channel. We're all about love, positivity, being a girl boss, and everything in that vicinity. In today's video, we're going to talk about a business that I was once involved with and that I already made a video about called Amway. In this video, I'm going to go a little bit more into depth as to why I think that Amway is a toxic behind business and very kind of cult-like, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I haven't watched any other Amway videos. I have created one. Like I said, it'll be in the description box below and in probably the first comment below as well. But I have seen that there are a lot of other Amway videos out there, and I made the video that I made about Amway months ago. But to this day, I mean, like every day to every other day, I still get comments on that video from butthurt Amway people who all of their stuff, they basically say the exact same things, which just kind of puts it even more in my head. Like, you guys like brainwash the people that you bring into. So we're going to get a little bit into that, and we're going to talk about that and why it is that I feel the way that I do. And I'm going to be a little bit more specific this time. If you're new to the channel, then go ahead and subscribe and turn your notification bell so you don't miss any future Girl Boss videos. If you're not new to the channel, then welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving me as much as I love you. And yeah, let's get right into this video. So oddly enough, I wasn't gonna make a video like this. I never thought about making an Amway video like this until I was talking to my dad about all the comments I was getting from Amway and explaining to him, like, yo, these people are crazy. Like, they're mad brainwashed. Like, you didn't come up with any of the products. Your soul is not invested. None of that. But these people are so greatly offended that they've come to DMing me and calling me names on Instagram. They have commented that I must not have an entrepreneurial website, which an entrepreneurial mindset, which obviously you can tell they must not follow me or look too far into me, because then they would know I have a business and multiple side hustles. So obviously I do have an entrepreneurial website, Mr./Mrs. Amway person. Okay, I just don't like the Amway practices. I've said multiple times that the idea behind Amway is okay, but that's the same thing as Herbalife and whether it works and lots of other things like that. And while I have nothing against it, some of them I've seen actual positive practices and positive people involved, but I have yet to see a positive Amway person. People who went into Amway and then left Amway always left because of the negativity and toxicity that they provide over there. So anyway, enough chit-chatting. I'm going to start with how I got into Amway. I'm not going to get too deeply into that. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit and share maybe more details that I might not have said in the last video. But I got into Amway because I had a friend, my best friend and me had a friend, and we'll call her Ashlyn. Ashlyn told us about Amway. I was talking about coming to a meeting and learning about this business. So when we came in to learn about the business, the first thing that I noticed was that it was at a hotel and there was just a bunch of people in the room sitting down, right? So we were sitting in the very front. And the stuff that the guy was saying was really dope. Like, he was talking about, you know, you're gonna buy this stuff anyway. You might as well buy it from yourself, and you know, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. You might as well make money from it. And he was explaining how you make money. They drew a little chart on the board. It was actually quite interesting. I was like, yo, yeah, okay. I buy toothpaste, you know, I buy mouthwash and all that stuff. I like snacks. They got snacks. I like snacks. And there's a particular product that they had that I liked, and it was called Excess. I loved me some Excess. Let me tell y'all the truth. That's the one thing that Amway did right. I really like, it's an energy drink that doesn't have caffeine or anything in it, and it doesn't like give you like a burst of energy. It just makes you feel like natural energy is in you. Like, you just feel good. Like, you feel like you can just completely finish whatever you're doing. And I thought it was great. And at the time, you know, I had a lot of college friends. It was a good market. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is a really good idea. Fast forward, I started going to the meetings. I started bringing other friends to the meetings and things like that. I was selling the Excess, you know, I was 18 at the time, so I didn't have a lot of money. I was working at like McDonald's or something. And I was like selling Excess to, you know, help raise the money. My best friend ended up joining before I could. And that was when we really started getting going. Like, we were going to like 2 to 3 meetings a week. I think the third meeting I couldn't go to because I wasn't an official member, but my best friend went to. Or if she went, I don't remember. But I remember, you know, we were going to every meeting that we could go to, taking notes. every single week. I mean, like, I was putting in hours, okay, going to these meetings, talking to these people, going to their parties, signing up for this, doing this, learning. And so I started picking up on a pattern. And I started to see certain things and certain behaviors and certain actions that I found disconcerting. So we're going to talk about the guy who was basically like one of the head people in the team that I was in. We're going to call him Chad. When I first met Chad, he seemed like a really cool guy. He was Seventh-day Adventist, which I was Seventh-day Adventist as well, and I thought it was cool. You know, he could sing, I sing, you know, there's a lot of connection there, you know what I'm saying? And he seemed like a really cool guy. He had a wife and they had a kid, and they were talking, they had this beautiful story about how, you know, they both retired at 20, or she retired at 28, and they were able to like live their dreams and do whatever they want. They just had a really nice story, right? And after a few weeks, I hadn't joined the business. I'm a Virgo. For anybody that knows me, knows, you know, Virgos, we gotta have all the information, all of the possible information, everything. We gotta have everything before we go investing and stuff. So I was very hesitant to join. Like I said, my best friend, she had went ahead and joined. I was very hesitant. I needed all of the info. I needed more. I had more questions. I needed everything to be answered. I needed to see for myself that this was a positive investment. After a couple of times meeting me, Chad's energy started to change. He started to say things like, oh, you haven't joined yet? Are you not wanting to make money? Do you not want to be successful? And then it started to become these little side glances or whatever. And then he started saying things when he was up there speaking, throwing shade to people who have not yet joined, such as myself. And I remember thinking, that's really strange. And then if I saw him and we weren't at the meetings, he ignored me completely. He wasn't the only one now. There were other people who were there who would act very uppity when they weren't amongst their brethren. They didn't really want to talk. They would not really acknowledge your existence. They would kind of give you a funny little glance or whatever. And I remember thinking, like, you're a little, like, y'all little sus. But I didn't say nothing about it. Like, when they was around each other, it was all energy and live. Like, oh, what's up, bro? But anybody who wasn't a part of this business, rather it was it could have been people they was close with before, but their energy was different. I'm talking about the higher ups, because there were some people on the lower levels that I knew. And they weren't like that. But also, these are the same people who sat in the back. And they were very interested, but at the same time, they weren't as committed as some of these higher ups. They were also very judgmental. I will never forget when Chad stood up there and he was talking about how, you know, his previous friend, who I guess doesn't have a business, they just work their career or whatever. And he was like, yeah, when I pulled up my calendar, I said, hey, Siri, what do I have planned for the month? And all this stuff popped up. But when his friend did the same thing, nothing happened because he didn't have anything planned for the month. And in my mind, I thought multiple things. I thought, one, maybe he doesn't put everything he plans in his phone. Or two, maybe he doesn't have to have 1,000 business interviews up to be a successful or worthwhile person. He literally said, because this guy didn't have anything on his calendar that was business related, that he stopped being his friend. He said that he cut off family members because they weren't making enough money to be associated with him. He said that he put distance between him and certain family members because those family members were not living the lifestyle that he was used to living now. Now, mind you, I am all for being in an environment that's inspiring and stuff like that, but I am also not for cutting off people that loved you and were there for you when you had nothing. I'm not there for that. There are plenty of people who were once in my life and they're not in my life now. Not because of how much money they make, but because of how uninspirational and unconducive they are to my own success and happiness. But to act as if you're better than everybody, that's different. And that's strange to me. I don't like that. I didn't vibe with that. However, I didn't say much about it. I remember getting like red flags and things like that when he would say certain stuff. And when he made his little snippy remarks at me or whatever and acted all snooty, I dealt. I was like, oh, word? Okay. But then we got into some of the stuff that was very cult-like. Very, very strange behavior between the people. Aside from the fact that they weren't really acknowledging you outside of the meetings, there was also the fact that they would start encouraging you to distance yourself from your family and friends and loved ones. I specifically remember, I don't even know if she remembers. Tell me if you remember this when you watch this video, Tia. If one point you told me that you were encouraged to stop being friends with me because I wasn't serious about the business. This memory literally just popped in my mind a couple of days ago. So I remember when you talked to me about it and you were just like, they said we shouldn't be friends, that I should distance myself from you because you're not going where I'm going. That was my best freaking friend. You're telling her she should cut off her best friend because I don't want to be in Amway? Nani? Like, that's the kind of behavior they were on. They start encouraging you to, distance yourself from your friends and family. I find that very cult-like because that's what cults do. They try to get you away from your loved ones so they can finish brainwashing you and putting this stuff into your mind. Not to mention the fact that everything they said at meetings and when they talked to you, it was very repetitive. You would hear the exact same sentences over and over and over again in different places at different times. Not mottos, but just sentences, scripts, things that was just built into their mind. Until next thing you know, you're repeating it and you don't even realize that you're doing that. You start repeating things and saying things that you never would have said before in that way. But because of how often they say it to you and they beat it into your mind, you find yourself verbatim saying the exact same things to people as if you came up with it. It's so weird. Then there's the chanting. Now, I don't know if other people talked about this in the other videos, but there were many occasions when me and my best friend walked into certain meetings and brought people into these meetings and they would start chanting. It was very unsettling. And I remember thinking, me and her were literally just like, what are y'all doing? Because they would be standing up chanting and they'd be watching you. And this is one thing that I peeped because I'm very, 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 very observant. They were watching you to see who was chanting and who wasn't chanting. And since I'm sitting there not chanting, I'm not going to get up and repeat some sentences for y'all. Every now and then I clap my hands to the beat because it was, they had a nice beat. But other than that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. And they were just like, oh, I see you didn't really have the energy today or you weren't, feeling the vibe. And the way they would say it, it made you feel like they were trying to shame you or shun you or make you feel bad about not wanting to get up and jump around and dance around and repeat their little sentences and all this stuff. It was weird. And this is not me being funny. I'm not saying this to bash nobody. And I didn't say it in the last video for that exact purpose because I didn't want to bash nobody. But all the comments I was getting, the DMs I've been getting, the straight up pure disrespect. I was like, oh, y'all just don't know. I'm not just making this up. Y'all are weird. And like I said, when my best friend watches this video, she will tell you right in the comments, look for her comment, it's Centric Rebel. She will tell you everything I'm saying is factual. It was not me just making it up. I have a witness to the foolishness in which I experienced. And then, not to mention, like I said, they shamed your relationships outside of the business. So when I would be talking about my boyfriend, they're like, "Oh, is he in a bit? Is he in Amway? Is he interested in Amway?" I said, "Yeah, I told him about it, but he's not really interested." They're just like, "Oh, that's weird. Like, you don't think that you should be with somebody who's da 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 da." Like, they're giving me the third degree about who the fuck I'm dating. Like, excuse me, man or sir. Excuse my language, but they were like really coming for me. And I remember thinking like, why is that your business? And this is coming from Chad as well. I remember because Chad was like one of the main people who really bugged me. His entire attitude, his demeanor, it was judgmental. It was uppity. He was like, ever seen those cult leaders who just act as if they're just above the world and they're above everybody? And not in a like, oh, I'm successful and you're not kind of way. Because like I said, I'm a business owner. I am somebody who prides myself on the fact that I work for myself and I do what I want when I want to do it, that kind of stuff. Like, I pride myself on this. I know, it's a good thing. But there's a difference between being proud of what you do and being happy you're a business owner and then feeling like you're better than everybody else. There's a whole, and it's an obvious difference. Like, after meeting him, it's an obvious difference. The way he acted was as if he was just up here. And anybody who wasn't an Amway was just down there, just down deep below anything he could ever deal with. He talked about family, close family, like parents, brothers, cousins, family, that he was going to leave in the dust behind because they weren't Amway members. And then we're going to talk about the blatant disrespect. As I touched on in the last video about Amway, they pretty much also told my best friend, like I said, this is stuff I experienced, but that didn't happen to me directly. So this is not just me who was uncomfortable. Her grandmother died. Her grandmother died. And these people came at her left because she wants to go to her grandmother's funeral instead of an Amway event. Someone died. And you guys are giving her grief. Literally saying the words, she's gone now, she can't do anything for you in your future. Those were their words. I kid you not. This came from Chad. This came from whatever her name is. I said Ashley, Ashlyn, whatever. This came from people. And Ashlyn was somebody we were cool with. When I tell you that who Ashlyn was when I met her, She worked at McDonald's with me. When I met her versus who she was by the time I left Amway, two completely different people, and not in a positive way. Not, oh, now she on it, she got a business, she's in. No, the way she spoke, the way she said her sentences was different. Not just how she carried herself. It's one thing, when you get a business, you do change a little bit. You start to become more organized. You're more selective with your time. But no, I mean literally the way she talked was different. The way I talk is the same. I still talk like me. The way she spoke, she said stuff that you know for a fact verbatim came from somebody in Amway's mouth, one of the Amway leaders' mouth. It was weird. She became a whole different individual. By the time I left Amway, I left her friendship because she had become somebody who would get upset with me if I didn't drop whatever I was doing, no matter how important it was to go to an Amway meeting. She told me last minute when I first moved to Atlanta, because that's when I decided not to join officially and to cut all ties. She got upset with me and sent me this whole little long message about how, I'm not committed to the business and I don't know how I expect to make money. How are you going to be successful if you're not willing to take the chance? Thinking about where I am now and the fact that I even tolerate, but anyway, she said all of that. And then she was like, oh, you need to, think about, your future and blah, 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 blah. I had just moved. I was supposed to I had responsibilities. You can't just drop responsibilities for these people. But that's what they wanted you to do. Anything that wasn't about Amway wasn't worth your time to them. That is what you're going to be getting into if you get into Amway. They will make it seem like, oh, it's a family. We all ride for each other. But not only is it a family, but they want you to stay. They are your only family as far as they are concerned. If you're not an Amway, you're nothing as far as they're concerned. The people in your life that you love that would support you in your business, whether they support you monetarily or share your stuff or whatever, they're going to tell you, you don't need to be with those people because they're not one of us. That is how they behave. That is literally the vibes. That is literally the kind of stuff that they hint at in the meetings. Because they never just say it. Because they just outright say, oh, you don't need to be friends with anybody that isn't an Amway. Obviously, you're going to be turned off, right? So they hint at it. They make little sly comments here and there until you come to realization with what it is that they're actually saying. And some people, by the time they come to realization, they're like, well, this is my family. They've already told me this. This is how I'm going to make money. This is how you become successful. They've brainwashed you. The people who commented on my past videos, if you go through the past video and look at the comments, they all say the same stuff, give the same statistics or the same facts. Nothing original is coming out of anyone's mouth. And I bet you the ones that are commenting on this video that are little Amway heads, nothing original is going to come out of their mouth. Nothing. I've never made a video about Herbalife and I almost joined them. I've never made a video about It Works and I didn't almost join them, but I've heard a lot about them. I've had people pitch plenty of businesses to me. None of them have I made a video about because none of them gave me the toxic, the weird, strange vibes that Amway did. Amway is a cult. Y'all are weird, okay? The fact that so many different people can be so disrespectful. And the reason why this video is coming to my channel is because I am a business owner. I am all about entrepreneurship and being a girl boss. And I know that you are too. And they can make it seem like you're going to be your own boss if you join Amway. But the truth of the matter is you're not. They're basically going to be your boss. They're going to be in control of your entire life. Are they going to do it exactly like actual cults do, where they just take all your banking account information and you throw everything away and put on a robe and go live in the wilderness? No. But that's basically what it's going to be like, because every single morning, evening, noon, and night, the only thing you're going to be doing is being surrounded by Amway people. Otherwise, Amway will have something to say about it. So that is my experience with Amway, and that is why I made my last video. Those are some specifics, some actual things that I experienced, went down, and heard and dealt with dealing with these people. And that is why I am now done with Amway, and I'm glad about it. So hopefully this video helps somebody who may have been thinking about joining Amway and discourage you from doing so. Starting a business is a great idea if that's what you want to do. If you're thinking about building on your income, side hustles, diversity, all that stuff, I am all for it. Trust and believe. But Amway, toxic. And for those of you that are going to say down below, yes, I know everything is not for everybody. However, I don't think that toxicness and cults are for anybody. So moving on, if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you want some more videos from moi. If you've made it this point in the video, then leave a money emoji in the comment section down below. Follow me on all of my social medias, Instagram, cherishingflow_, and on Twitter, cherishingflow, Snapchat, cherishingflow. You'll find me cherishingflow on a lot of stuff. And don't be afraid to DM me. Ask me more questions. If you guys want more details about this, I will give you more details. We can have a conversation, bro or sis. And I will let you know the inside scoop stuff that I didn't even include in this video. And yeah, love you guys. See you guys in the next video.